Screen, give me a second. Do you see the screen?
Yes, you can see your notes as well. Oh, not your notes, but the other
Okay.
slides. This is always my fear that everyone's going to see all my notes. Embarrassing.
Just adding people in. Okay, so welcome to the Clarion Futures West Ealing Community Grant Program 2012. And this is the short agenda. We try to follow this, but yeah, we'll go through welcome and introductions, presentation by both by myself, and then very quick one with most of the time taken over by our funder, Caroline Wolf and Marissa Fletcher Patrick. And we'll then move on to question and answers. And in between, if you do have questions, feel free to ask, but we hope to get the questions sorted at the end.
Preempting my presentation from what I can see.
Oh, sorry. Has the screen share gone off?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just quickly go through introducing Caroline and Marissa, who are with us from, they're the fundraising project managers in the Community Investment Department of A2 Dominion, which is one of the largest of the G15 group of housing associations in the country. They're currently working in partnership with Clarion Futures, which is also a part of G15, and they're here to deliver the West Ealing Community Grant Program. I'll give you a short brief about what the program is all about. I will share slides and information later, but just a bit about it. The grant is, back to seeing if I can share this with you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back up. The grants are from 1,000 to 5,000, and they're available to organizations who are seeking to deliver well-designed projects on behalf of residents and wider community in the West Ealing area. So the main focus of the grant is on 3 basic areas for young people, older people, and families. They've again bifurcated that into areas that they would be looking at. And I have put up details. I wouldn't want to read it off the screen for you, but when you're dealing with older people or groups with young children and families, the areas that they focused and looking at this point are put down on this slide, and other details would be shared by Caroline in the next minute or so. So I'll let her do all the talking. Thank you, Caroline.
It's all right.
Over to you. I'll stop sharing.
Marissa, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Marissa Fletcher Patrick from A2 Dominion. I work in the partnership and fundraising department alongside Caroline. I've been working in A2 Dominion for the last 12 years, and both Caroline and I have secured some really successful bids, but more importantly that we work closely within the community. I work on more the community side, and Caroline, my colleague, works more on the employment side. So we have a really great understanding of some of the work that we do. So we're really looking for some exciting bids to come in, and I'll pass you back over to Caroline.
That's it really. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much because most of it's in my slides really. As Marisa says, yeah, we've both been working for A2 Dominion for quite a long time. I think I've been there for about 8 years. And we're here basically to, well, we'd like to hear about you as well, actually, just to hear the kinds of projects that you have or the organisations that you work for. So maybe we'll do a bit of that later on in the Q&A. This is going to be a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of what the grant is and where we're focusing and what we're looking for. And as Nyoka said, obviously you can ask us questions afterwards. I'm hoping that most of the answers will be in the presentation. But anyway, let's get ahead and I'll see if I can get my slides up. This is always a bit of a nightmare moment. Just a minute. Right. Let's see, share screen. Right, can you see that? And is it just the main one slide, or have you got all the bits?
Got both slides. We've got two.
You got both. Oh, this is what I hate. All right, let me try again. How about that?
Perfect.
Right, here we go. Okay.
Great.
So feel free to jump in, Maurice, at any point. Okay, so welcome to the West Ealing Community Grants Programme. As has been said already, we work for A2 Dominion, Marisa and I, as part of the partnership and fundraising team. We're actually delivering this programme on behalf of Clarion Futures, who are the grant or fund giving or financial part of Clarion Housing Association, which is the bigger housing association part of the G15. So we're here to sort of administer it, help give advice, organise the scrutiny panel and assess the applications alongside Clarion and other members of the local community. So what is the grants programme? So the grants fund is worth £100,000 per year and it's running over 3 years. So we're going to have £300,000 worth of grants to give out. The grants are going to be between £1,000 and £5,000 and there will be 3 rounds per year, I believe. So we're looking to fund approximately 6 to 8 projects in each round, depending on how much you're looking for. The projects we're focusing on are, as Nyoka said, young people aged under 25, older people, and families and communities, which probably sounds like everybody, the whole community, and in a sense it is. So in the actual applications, we're looking to see where people have demonstrated an understanding of the local community. So it would help if you are based in that community, but it's not essential. You need to be able to look around at what already exists, check out where there are gaps in provision or where you can add value by working alongside partners who are currently delivering. And, you know, partnership working, I can't emphasize enough how important that is. I'll go into that a little bit more later on. You need to be working alongside local residents, engaging them in the community, and you know that is key. So we're not just looking for consultations, you know, that used to be the way. You go into communities and consult with them and just see whether there was an appetite for your particular project or event. We're also looking for people to engage the community in co-designing the project or the activity. I mean, that's really important, I think. And then once your project is up and running, you'll need to be monitoring and reporting back to Clarion and A2 Dominion. So that's throughout the project and at the end doing some impact report. So you'll need to be able to show that you can measure the impact of what you're doing and the success of it. So on to the practicalities. To apply, you'll need to apply online, and before you do that, you'll need to register on the Clarion Futures website. So it's an online application. Some funders we found more recently don't make it very easy for the application form to be printed out beforehand, and I don't know about you, but I like to be able to scope out my application beforehand before cutting and pasting it onto an online application form. So we can provide you with a PDF or Word version purely to help you plan it and draw it up in draft, but you will need to apply online. The application window opened on the 17th of May and it's open until 12 noon on the 23rd of June. That's really important. Anything coming in after that, we have to be really quite strict and not accept. So 23rd of June, 12 noon, put that in your diaries. The grants panel will meet in the week commencing the 19th of July. And as I said, the grants panel will be made up of people in the local community, members of our staff, active sort of residents, and even some of the small communities that might be applying at some point in the future. Both successful and unsuccessful applications will be notified in the week commencing the 26th of July, so a week later. And we will aim to give you some practical feedback if you are unsuccessful as well, so that you can apply in later rounds if you'd like to. It's essential that you consult the application and documentation checklists before you draw up your application. There is a checklist, I think, at the beginning of the application form and probably in the guidance notes as well, which you'll send around. So make sure before you apply that you check the checklist, and also before you submit your application as well. That's really important. I probably mentioned before as well that we're here to give help and support. Also Clarion are as well. So if you've got any queries about the online application form or the deadlines or any criteria, Clarion are really helpful and happy for you to contact them. And if you've got, you want to talk through your initial ideas and have any guidance there, you know, Marisa and I have got a wealth of experience in this, so please feel free to contact us as well if you would like to. So before you start, I would say it's essential that you check the eligibility criteria. If your organisation doesn't meet the criteria, please don't apply. It's really, you know, it can be quite a time-consuming exercise, and if you don't apply, the criteria, it's really no point in applying. So I don't know if this is the point where I talk about the size of your, we'll come back to that. So the grants programme is open to the following, and you can see there, not-for-profit organisations, including constituted community groups, registered charities, companies limited by guarantee, parent-teacher associations or friends of school groups, social enterprises or community interest companies. And it's essential that you're working in or for the benefit of residents in the West Ealing area. So you may be based somewhere totally different. We did one of these sessions a couple of weeks ago, and somebody joined us from Scotland, but he's actually got a lot of contacts. I think they're it's a financial advice kind of company, and they have volunteers based in West Ealing, so they were able to apply. So you need to think quite sort of what's the word? Just think about where your contacts are. Again, if you're working in partnership with other groups and they're based in West Ealing, then you can still be eligible. Think about the location. So your project must benefit residents and the wider community in West Ealing. You need to have a management committee, so that will include at least 3 unrelated members. You need to have a governing document. And your annual income, this is what I was going to say, it must have been less than £500,000 in the last year. Now, again, if you're working in partnership with other groups or organisations that are smaller than yourself, then you can assist them to put in an application that will benefit, you know, the people who come to you. So if you're, you know, for instance, A2 Dominion, we apply for grants that we would not normally be eligible for, but we work in partnership with a lot of small groups or companies that work for the benefit of our residents. And so we will assist them to put in applications that benefit our residents and their members. So think about that. If you have more than had more than £500,000 income in the last year, but you work with smaller groups that would benefit the residents of West Ealing, then think about assisting them to put in an application. You need to have a bank account. That's essential, otherwise we can't pay you. And you need to have 2 unrelated signatories on that. And accounts, you need to be able to show us a record of your accounts or record of your income and expenditure. We understand that a lot of small groups or new startups may not have this yet, in which case you'll need a bank statement and an income and expenditure forecast. And policies are really important, particularly safeguarding if you're working with young people or vulnerable adults. And they're, you know, depending on what you're delivering, there will be other policies that are relevant. And of course, insurance is very important. Relevant insurances must be in place for delivering activities. These will include things like public liability or employment liability insurance. I just had a quick check. A2 Dominion's public liability insurance, I think, is £50 million, but obviously if you're a smaller group, then it probably wouldn't be quite as much as that. But insurance is very important. So a bit more about the kinds of projects we fund. We're looking at projects that target young people, older people, families and communities. The key focus is engaging people in positive activities. So, you know, that could be young people, but also older people as well. Things that encourage community cohesion, particularly important. In this post-pandemic year, developing resilience is really important, and with young people, building confidence and leadership skills as well. So there's a lot about maximising opportunities for young people. Reducing social isolation. When I put that in initially, I was thinking older people, but in fact, last year when we went into lockdown, we did a programme of ringing all our residents, starting with our older residents. When we went on to our younger, under 30s, we found that actually there was a high incidence of social isolation among the under 30s, single parents, people really struggling, you know, to bring up young children on their own. So think about social isolation as affecting, you know, young and old. That's really important. Improving physical and mental well-being, again, really important, particularly in this last year that we've been through. Digital and financial literacy. Financial literacy, particularly when we're thinking about people coming up off furlough in September, we're expecting a big influx of people looking for work. Being digitally literate as well as financially literate is very, very important. Reducing the impact of poverty, safer neighbourhoods, improving perceptions of young people. This is not the total list, and as I said, we'll be sending around the guidance notes. Make sure you read them, but this is essentially the kind of projects that we're looking for. You might have something totally different that we haven't even thought of, but in terms of the areas that we're looking at, these are them. You need to check out our funding priorities and ensure that you can demonstrate them. And I can't say more strongly enough, you know, knowledge of the local area is really important. So you need to look at the existing provision, see if you can add value, look at any gaps in the provision. Is there something that you can provide that isn't already there? Look at partnerships and networks, make best use of other local services, make connections, you know, there's strength in numbers. This is important too. You need to demonstrate a clear plan for engaging the local community to participate in your activity, and maybe, as I said before, you know, co-develop it. And if you don't have an extensive knowledge of the local area, this is a really important or useful portal that we set up in collaboration with another group. It contains a lot of useful data, including demographic information that you can use in your application. And that's it. So happy to take questions. If you do ask a question, could you tell us who you are and where you come from, what your organisation is, and if you want to share what your idea is as well, I'm happy to hear that too.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm not used to doing very, I'm a bit nervous, but anyway, my name's Lolyn Jones. I'm the Secretary of HeartLink, Ealing Heart Support Group. We were based at Ealing Hospital. We have about 200 to 300 members, all heart patients, and we've been established for 25 years and we're affiliated to the British Heart Foundation. Last year, about this time actually, I desperately put in a bid for a grant and was refused because we are not a registered charity. We are a support group.
Right.
You know, recognised in our own right, we have a constitution, we have a committee, we have all of that, but we're not a registered charity. And I was quite disappointed last year. So my question is, would we qualify if I put in the effort now? Would we actually qualify? Not to get the grant, but actually, you know, to be considered even, because I don't really want to waste it. I mean, I spent a lot of time and effort, and we didn't get anywhere. We were told that because we weren't a charity, we weren't going to be put forward.
Yeah. Well, as I said before, if you're a fully constituted group, then yes, you would definitely qualify. You know, as I said, we, you know, teachers, resident associations, teacher groups, families of schools, you know, yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Because a lot of our members are, obviously, we're all heart patients. I've just had a pacemaker put in, so I'm going to have to excuse myself in a minute, but I was desperate to get onto it. But most of our members are old, you know, older, I shouldn't say old, I'm older. And they, in the last year, have been very, very isolated. A lot of them have lost family, and they've been very isolated. And we've not been able to actually maximise our fundraising activities, because that's what we live on, fundraising. Right. So any help, you know, I'm very keen. And I've got a number of ideas that would help them. So any help would be greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. I will obviously be putting in a bid. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well done. And good luck.
I think we have Brian and Catherine and Salma in that order next. Brian, would you like to ask your question, please?
Oh, yeah, hi. It's excuse me, it's Brian Rose here. I'm on the steering group. I'm on the steering group for the Ealing Care Co-op with a group of people. It's part of the Ealing Council's Better Lives initiative, and we've produced a detailed feasibility study to show that this can work, and we're setting up as an alternative to care agencies. As you know, people don't get the quality and quantity of care that they really need, and care workers get very poor terms and conditions, zero-hour contracts and all that sort of stuff. So we want to form an inclusive, democratic social care cooperative so that people get the quality and quantity of care they need and a more comprehensive package as well. Now, we're in the process of trying to raise quite a lot of money because it's obviously a big project for this Ealing-wide co-op idea. So we need to raise some money to put together a what do you call it, a prospectus, so that we can put it out to people who can then look at what we have to offer and perhaps invest in us. There is something called a smaller groups investment scheme run by the government, which gives very good tax incentives for people like who want to invest in a social enterprise. So we're looking to do that as well. So my question is, would we qualify to put forward a bid for a grant for a few thousand to help us do this prospectus thing that we can put out to the potential investors? Thank you.
Is it for the benefit of people in West Ealing?
The whole of Ealing.
All of Ealing. I don't see why not. I mean, if you're concerned about the fact that you're applying for more than one pot of money, then no, I mean, that's absolutely fine. We often do that ourselves. So it sounds to me that you would qualify. Maurice, do you?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I'll let the rest of the group know, and we'll you said the deadline is the 23rd of June, did you?
That's right, yeah.
Did you say noon on 23rd? Is that right?
Noon on the 23rd, yeah. Can I just ask, have you received the notes, the guidance notes already, or not yet?
Not yet, no.
No,
Yeah, we'll send those
I
out.
haven't sent them out. I will send them out.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I just wanted to check. So you'll get all the detail in there. This was, as I say, a bit of an overview, but yeah, noon on the 23rd of June.
Okay.
The panel will be sitting on the 19th, or the week commencing the 19th of July.
Yeah.
And then you should hear a week later.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question from Catherine.
Thank you very much. So yes, I'm Catherine. I work for the Middlesex Association for the Blind. We do already have quite a good presence in Ealing because the Ealing Council pays us some money to support their visually impaired clients. But I've got a question for the donors, and then I've got a question also for all the people in the workshop. And so my first question for the donors is, do you find, are you looking for something new, or would you look for something that is sort of relaunching a service that wasn't, you know, something that existed before, but that needs to be relaunched in a new way?
Both.
You are, okay. So then this is for everybody else in the room too, then, to say that we've got a mobile resource unit, which we drive around boroughs and we park it at different places, like at eye hospitals where you have a lot of visually impaired people going. We park it in high streets. And basically it's a converted motorhome that has a canopy that comes out. There's chairs and tables you can put outside. We exhibit assistive devices inside, and we give advice and support to people. So it's a way of reaching people wherever they are, rather than expecting them to come to our resource centers. And this is just an invitation, if there's any other organization that also is wanting to promote themselves publicly, we would love to sit with you under our canopy, come rain or shine, and talk to members of the public about both of our organizations. You'd be welcome to exhibit alongside us, to bring your banners and set up with us. So that's basically the project I would look at asking you to consider funding. I don't know, does we have a lot of visually impaired games. So we have simulation spectacles, and we'll set up a table and we'll ask people who are walking past, you know, put on these glasses. That is what it feels like to be visually impaired. Try and pour this water. You know, we got a number of different games like that we play with people in the public, as well as, and our overall aim is to reduce isolation. We also have home visiting support that's also offered. Is that the kind of thing you may consider?
Sounds great.
Okay. Super. Thank you very much.
I mean, please, by all means, use this as a platform to make connections and, you know, new partnerships. It's so important to be working together. You know, as I say, the strength in numbers, you can, when you join forces, you can offer so much more. So yeah, if you want to put your contact details in the chat, then please do.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, the next question from Salma Uller.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I'm from a charity called SheWise. We are a small charity working in Hounslow. We support BME women and women from disadvantaged background in the areas of social and economic development, providing income generation platforms and supporting women with domestic violence issues and other vulnerabilities that they are exposed to. My question is actually, when you were giving a breakdown, is that being a small charity, we do have a bank account, we have 2 signatories. I get the feeling that the standards, the criteria that's been set for this is actually looking to me very, very high. So like in terms of, I think the bank account area that which you've identified, that 2 people have to be, completely unrelated. And, also I think there was an area with regards to the income also. So is there a flexibility in terms of that, if we're able to demonstrate that the work is being carried out? And we predominantly work in-house, so I'm not even sure whether we will be able to qualify. Although despite the fact that Hounslow and Ealing kind of like work together. So am I understanding this correctly? Or if you don't mind explaining that to me.
Yeah, I mean, we are expecting a lot of applications, so we have to be quite strict in terms of the location, or, if you can demonstrate that you are benefiting people in the West Ealing area. In terms of the bank accounts, did you say that you did have 2 signatories?
Yeah, we have 2 signatories, but unfortunately or fortunately, but the second signatory happens to be my sister. We're both in partnership and we've been doing this since 2015. So now it looks like that, we may not be able to qualify for this. And then you've mentioned with regards to, so because being a charity, there's a small trust, but is management committee essential? And is partnership really, really essential? Because a lot of organizations that I've seen who we have in the past approached for collaboration are very quite reluctant also, because everybody is running for themselves, and funding, it's actually really, really difficult to secure. So that these are the areas that I feel are slightly worrying for us as a small organizations. I don't know how flexible you guys will be.
Sorry, did somebody want to add something there? No. I wonder whether there is a possibility of getting another signatory for the sake of this. I'm not sure how difficult that is to do. The information that we've been given is that, yeah, they shouldn't be related. But at the same time, I mean, it sounds like what you do is really vital work, and it would be a shame for you to not be able to apply for the sake of not having another unrelated signatory.
Caroline, do you think in that instance that we could go back to Clarion Futures and let them know that?
Yeah, we can certainly get advice on that and get back to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In terms of the services, you say you're in Hounslow.
Yeah.
Are you able to extend that service to people in West?
Yeah, we do, because we also run a homeless centre every Sunday, and we provide hot meals and food banks to homeless women and men, and this is normally delivered in Ealing, in Hounslow, and we do extend to Hammersmith and Fulham and in Chelsea as well. So I mean, because it's based on need, human needs, and wherever there's a need, we just go and deliver. So yes, absolutely, to answer that question in terms of delivering. So what it is that it's because it's a development program. So at the moment, our strong focus is in Hounslow, but we're definitely looking to extend into Ealing and into Hammersmith and Fulham. All the others, wherever there's women's organizations. I mean, currently we're working with women in prison, and they're based all the way in Lambeth. So like I said, our target is wherever there's a need, we will go for it. So yes, definitely that can be managed.
What I could also say, that sounds really good. We work with something called the Lido Centre, which is based in the heart of West Ealing.
Yeah.
A lot of small organisations work out of there or work in collaboration with them. I would recommend that you contact the Lido Centre.
Thank you.
We have contacts with Sasha Roden there. And if you can, that could be a small partnership that you could develop. And if you can say that you're working out of there part of the time, at least, then that fulfills that obligation there, that criteria.
Super. Sounds great. Thank you.
Salma, could I just ask you
Great.
to put your email address in the chat? So
Yes, sure. Sure. I'll drop that in now. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Caroline and Marissa. We have two more questions. We'll go with Rosita first.
You're on
Oh,
mute.
you're on mute.
My name's Rosita, and I am a trustee of Pitzhanger Manor and Gallery, which is an arts and cultural organisation based in Ealing Broadway. The first thing I wanted to ask Caroline was, does the organisation have to be based in West Ealing and or provide services in West Ealing?
So you don't necessarily have to be based in West Ealing, you just need to be able to demonstrate that you are benefiting the residents or local community in West Ealing. So as I said before, we had an organisation that joined us from Scotland, but they had connections in West Ealing and were delivering a service for West Ealing residents. So yeah, you don't actually physically have to be based there.
Right, and is there a particular, how is West Ealing defined? Is there a particular postcode or?
There are postcodes, so it's sort of West 13, West 7, isn't it? That sort of area. I'm not that, although we work in Ealing, we work in W5, but it does, I think it, yeah, it varies a little bit. I think all I can do is direct you to a map. If you have a look on a West, there will be maps. And in fact, that portal that I mentioned, I think will probably have a clear kind of outline of the different parts of Ealing, because it's quite a big borough, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because the reach of Pitzhanger is throughout Ealing, not just particular parts of Ealing. But I mean, obviously, we want to, there are certain communities and certain parts of Ealing that we're not reaching, and our aim is to further our reach.
Right.
But can I also recommend to everybody attending this meeting, please visit Pitzhanger. We've had a terrible year. We've had to close for most of the year. And so, you know, that's why I'm here to look at possible sources of funding. So please visit.
Do put, if you want to put any contact details or information in the chat again, please do.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We move to TP Singh. I
Hi.
see your hand up.
Yeah, hi, my name is TP Singh from Punjabi Theatre Academy. We are based in Southall, but we are working in the arts activity for a youngster through the Zoom. But we're not sure we can apply because this our program not only designed for the West Ealing resident, we also work throughout the Ealing and Hounslow. So we just want to know whether we can apply or no. That's my one question. We are Arts Academy.
So it doesn't, you know, if you service the whole of Ealing, that's fine, as long as you can demonstrate, though, that you are benefiting the residents or community of West Ealing as well, then that's fine.
Thank you. Thank you so
What
much.
was your organisation again? What do you do?
Punjabi Theatre Academy. We are Drum and Theatre Academy. We are promote through the Zoom at the moment, still lockdown. And we're making some documentary on the base in Southall. And we give the opportunity for the local resident, doesn't matter from Southall, West Ealing, our member from the West Ealing as well, from the Acton as well.
Yeah.
So we are in a wider network circle between Ealing and Hounslow.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but benefit goes to everybody.
Yeah.
But we can encourage to West Ealing residents, people who are a member, to join us when we're going to this application. And if we get application, we can promote most West Ealing residents people.
Brilliant.
Thank you. I will be putting in my contact details in the chat, and if you'd like to run your applications by me before you send it out, I'm happy to help and support you there. or we'll move on to diversity radio.
Oh, hi, hello. It's
Welcome.
Federica from
Hi,
Diversity
Federica.
Radio, and we are a digital platform, and we aim to obviously increase the awareness and education of mental health. I was wondering if you can share. I send a little link with a video. Is
I'll
it
do
possible?
that.
Yeah, thank you.
I will send it along with the presentation. Caroline, would you be sending me your presentation along with the guidance notes to everyone who's here? So, and I will also add your video.
Oh, okay.
If you want to talk about, what that link is about, just give them a
Yes.
one-liner about it.
Yes. So basically, we had the Radio Doco that did a short video, and especially the last year has been quite difficult, affecting our mental health with the COVID. And we are all service user. It's a service user led charity, and I personally live in Ealing, and we all come from the West London NHS hospital. So yeah, it's a digital platform where we do podcasts, we have some shows, and everybody is welcome to join. And yeah, usually Nash does the presentation, so that's why I was wondering if you could upload the video, but
I'll send it across.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. That sounds really interesting. Did you say you were based in West London or West Ealing?
So I live in Ealing Broadway, so W5. We are all connected with St Bernard Hospital as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar obviously with the West Ealing and area as well.
So this is they're brilliant if you want to go ahead and promote your events and stuff through this new media. So do contact them and I'll send you details. Any more questions for Caroline and Marissa on the fund? I have Brian's hand up. Is this from the old question? Okay. Caroline and Marissa, would you like to add on to the session? Anything else you want to update the group on?
Mr. Abdi. Oh.
Yes, that's Abdi.
Yes. Hi, Larry.
Hi.
I am Mr. Abdi. I am the head of East African Disabilities and Elderly Community. I am from South Hall, Broadway. Just I am the first time I will be applying the grant. Then I don't know how to fill the forms, that application. Then how can you help me about that? If I want to fill the forms, and how can you tell me that?
Well, we can help to a certain extent, but obviously we can't write the application for you. We can talk through your ideas and so on. I don't know. I would recommend trying to get help from another partner, maybe, or I don't know. What do you think, Marisa? There are different support groups out there in terms of.
I'm happy to read the application if you go ahead and put in your application and share it with me, and I can support you there. Yes.
Then how can I get the application form? Can I get through the email or just
no?
You send me by
I will be sending all the details to everybody registered in today. Your email IDs are with me, so I'll be sending the guidance notes. You should go through them carefully, and it also has a link to the forms and your eligibility, what is funded, what is not funded, and any other questions. Feel free to email me.
Okay, thank you very much, and merci beaucoup.